Jimmy McCallion found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Shayla.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Flynn works the
Is there time for a winner?
Is this actually Sheffield Wednesday that we're talking about? The positivity from the club is at levels that we've not seen in a long, long time, and long may it continue as well. Hello and welcome to the Wednesday Tie-Dye podcast. I'm James Mappin, and I'm laughing because you'll see in a second. Alongside me is Mr. Matt. It's Mr. Matt Johnson, or it's the third mascot of Sheffield Wednesday. Matt, come on, mate. We need an explanation, pal.
Yeah, Halloween party. I wanted to go as the most evil thing that I know, which is obviously the previous chairman was told, "Oh no, you can't do that." And I said, "Well, why not?" And my missus was like, "Oh, it's always got to be something to do with Sheffield Wednesday, hasn't it?" So I went, "Right, okay." Heard your message. You didn't say I can't do something about Sheffield Wednesday. So I thought, right, let's go get a big fuck off inflatable owl and let's wear that. So yeah, here I am.
Mate, first of all, fair play for finding that. I mean, whoever you bought it from have probably got it at the back of the warehouse. Never sold one in the last 5 years or something. Got fucking hell, someone's bought the inflatable owl.
Hey, it is a corker. Just for everybody, I will give you a full view.
Oh, here we go then. Let's have a look. Look at that. I mean, you could have painted it blue and white, and he can't hear me because he's taking his headphones out. But that is an absolute belter. For those that are in the Discord, they would have seen it already on Friday when he put the pictures on, and then a few people were like, "I dare you to wear it on Sunday." So there you go. Matt, like, just quickly, I mean, I will let you take it off in a second.
Thanks.
But you're fresh from your the shortest trip that you'll make this season, and your little appearance on Sky Sports at the end as well. I mean, how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. My barber was thrilled because it was the best free advertisement that he'll get all year. I had a haircut on Thursday and then messaged him and said, "Your trim's just been seen on Sky Sports." And he went, "Yes, nice one." So, yeah, aside from that, mate, really, really good. Not the most thrilling of games yesterday, but I can't talk seriously with this fucking game, I'll be honest with you.
Mate, I can't take you seriously either. Go on, I'll talk about Patreon. You go and take that off, and I'll see you in a second. Yeah, don't forget to head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/WTID pod is where you need to go. You can listen to Matt's match day special. He wasn't wearing the owl costume, unfortunately, but you can hear that from yesterday's game at West Brom. All 45 minutes of it as well. Yeah, you can also get extra time, which we're going to be talking about straight after this game, really. We're going to be talking about, look, I know this season's kind of only just begun, really, but we are going to be talking about what League One or what the squad is going to look like next season, because there's quite a lot of players that we've got, well, some players that we've got, that's all of them, that might not fancy a season down in the third tier. So we're going to be talking about that. If you want to get involved, like I said, patreon.com/WTID pod is where you need to go. Matt, you look much better now without your owl costume. The chat is absolutely on fire, I have to say. I mean, these ones came in before you donned the owl outfits. We've got Emma in here. She says, "Evening, Dan, 1 point away, ole ole." Matt says, "Loving this positivity around our club. Long may it continue." Dale hooting in here, eh, Matt? I think he got wind in the Discord. James says, "All the bottom four to play could be on plus points by December. Bring it on." Nat says, "Can we play in clashing kits every week, please? 1 point, ole, ole, ole." Yeah, I'm going to talk about the clashing kits a little bit. Dan says, "If only Ugbo could finish Wes says, evening lads, up the -5 owl, says Liam, and then this is when you came on, because we've got George, oh no he hasn't, Nat, amazing, fucking hell, says Batleth 69, what the heck, from GE, loads of laughing emojis, love it Matt, from James, yeah, everyone deal with the crying emojis as well. So yeah, it went down a hoot, let's say.
Well done.
Yeah, fair play, Matt. Fair play. Now, obviously, some of you would have seen my appearance on the new game show hosted by Alex Brooker that was aired on Friday on their YouTube channel called Call Yourself a Fan. Matt, have you watched it?
Yes, I have. It's a good episode. Jeff Bell, who was on there, who everyone was like, oh, I didn't really know who he was, etc. I was like, again, for those who don't know, I'm a teacher. My subject is drama. I was like, fucking hell, Jeff Bell, his role in The Business, Chef's Kiss, like absolutely sensational. All of those Nick Love films, like where he's kind of like ingrained in them. He's ingrained in Green Street as well. Very football fan culture type of film. Brilliant actor.
Mike Bassett as well. He's in that one.
Mike Bassett as Wacko in that. Jimmy Bullard, who I'd have just spent hours talking golf to, I'll be honest with you.
Well, it's fair because Pete, who was Jake's mate, he took him a golf ball to sign, which I thought was absolutely incredible. Like
that. And then also, third on that list was Des Walker.
Yeah.
The actual Sheffield Wednesday legend was Des Walker. So yeah, it was really, really, genuinely, really, really good. Great show. If you haven't watched it, do so.
I mean, I am kicking myself. The first question in that last round was, who's got the largest stadium in the Championship? And to my credit, like, we haven't seen 39,000 in Hillsborough for a long time. Maybe someone can tell us last time it was that many. It's got to be in the Prem last time we were there, because it's never been that many. And there's not that many seats in, and because of the SAG group, I think we can only have about 28,000 fans in there now, can't we? It's so that question just threw me a little bit, and I'm thinking, who else has got a big stadium? And then I thought, fuck it, pass. And he went Wednesday. I was like, you absolute idiots. Of course it's us, innit? Like, most of the questions were kind of tailored around us, but no, it was a good laugh. It was. I'm glad that I got that first question right so quickly, because most people will probably watch it for about 5 minutes and turn it off. And at that point, they'll think, fucking hell, that kid in the middle in that yellow shirt, he is right good. And then they'll watch the rest of it and think, no, he's not. Like,
the one that there was two that got me. Obviously, the stadium one was bad. The Mesut Ozil one, Arsenal to Madrid. That was, and I thought the last one that they asked you was. I was chatting to Chris about this in the pub before the game yesterday. The Barcelona to Inter Miami. Both of us raced to Sergio Busquets. Both of us, the second best defensive midfielder in the world next to Shea Charles. We both raced to him, and we were like, it was him. But both of us I went, who did you say? And he went, Jordi Alba. Me too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Messi didn't even go from Barcelona, because he went to PSG, didn't he? So that wasn't even the wrong year. It was the wrong person as well. Also, sure, it's the wrong club. But anyway, go and watch it. Call yourself a fan. Just search it on YouTube. I would say go on our socials, but I've tweeted that many times since Friday that you probably can't scroll down that far. But anyway, it was a good laugh nonetheless. Even had my makeup done as well, which is the first time for everything, isn't it, Matt?
Beautiful, beautiful. Again, you're talking to a drama teacher, mate. So again, I got no problems with it whatsoever.
Fair enough. Before we get on to the match as well, I just want to touch on the fundraising efforts of everyone. First of all, Al's Talk put one up and got 10 grand in an hour, I think it was, or just over. Then we've got the Trust who did their own. I did these notes last night, and I am just going to have a look quickly now. I mean, last night it was on 51k. I don't know what it's on now at the moment. I'm just going to have a look as we £53,146 as we stand. I mean, they've also donated £20,000 as well, so that's what, 73 plus the 10 that's £83,000. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it, Matt, when you think about it, the amount of money that people have just, and it's literally just donated, not bought. I know we've spent all that money in the shop and on the tickets. This is literally just people just giving up their hard-earned money for nothing.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's an amazing effort by the fan base financially on all fronts in the last, 9 days. I think Yorkshire Bank will have been having kittens watching people from the fair city of Sheffield's expenditure over the last 9 days. But again, it is a really positive and feel-good atmosphere at the minute surrounding the football club. And just a reminder, we are in administration, not a new owner playing champagne football, walk into a league title. It's really interesting to see the base of this, because this is this very nicely, James. This is probably as low as it's going to go for a little while in terms of, you would hope, if everything clicks into gear and goes the way that Sheffield Wednesday fans want it to, that this is going to be like the base level where we sit, and it just carries on going up and up and up and up and up. So it's an unbelievable effort from everybody, and to anybody who has donated to any of the causes that are going round should be really proud of themselves as a Sheffield Wednesday fan at the minute.
Yeah, I think also even any sort of potential owner. I know there's a lot of talk about filling out Norwich. We'll get onto that Norwich game later on if we've got time, which we normally don't. But anyway, I'm sure we will today. There's a lot of talk about that, and I know the administrators have come out and said this is a time to show off the club and stuff. I kind of get that to one regard, but I also think if someone is going to buy the football club, I'd hope that they do a bit more research into the football club. But also this helps as well. Not every football club. I mean, not every football club has had to do this, but to be donating this sort of levels of money just for a football club, and you can probably bet most of these people that have donated money have probably also bought tickets for other people for the Norwich game. They've probably also bought 2, 3, 4 shirts. Even that ghastly purple one, which is actually growing on me. I'll come on to that in a bit as well. They've probably done all that already. And season tickets and all the other stuff. So. Yeah, I think it's just a remarkable effort by everyone, and we shouldn't really be surprised because we are massive at the end of the day, aren't we, Matt? So
it's capital N, capital A.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I'll just read some comments. Scott says 1998, Man United at home. Carboni scored 1-1, 39 plus. Liam says 39,640. Man United at home, 99 to the 2000 season. So that was the season after what Scott said. But yeah, I thought I was right. That would be the last time we had that many. Louis says, reckon we see Matt in his costume at a game before Ugbo scores?
Gets worse. There's more people in the comments who further down. I think it was Steve who said that I've got to wear it every single game until Ugbo scores a league game. So
there
I can tell you now, Steve, I don't think the power bank that powers it will last the 700 charges it takes for that, I'll be honest. And I know for a fact Andy would be royally pissed off, the man who sits next to me. Can you imagine sitting next to that for 90 minutes?
I'm not bothered about the one that sits next to you. I'm about the one who sits behind you. He won't be able to see a fucking thing.
It's my dad, fucking.
Fair enough. Fair news. Yes, James says Matt's got to attend every game in the Cozier until Ugbo scores. Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing. Yeah, right. Let's get on to the match then. Let's get straight into this game at the Hawthorns. We always start with the lineup. Horvath, Palmer, Iorfa, Lowe. I'm going to talk about this in a bit. Fuchsia. I can't even say it, man. I say Fuchsia. I'm sure he came out and said that's what his name was. But for people that watching the watch along, I got royally pissed off with myself not being able to say his name. I just resorted to calling him Sean in the end, which I thought was much easier. Yeah. Valerie, Bannon, Amas, Ingleson, Lowe and Ugbo. So it was 2 changes. Horvath replaced Lumley, who went back after his 7-day emergency loan. The other change was Ugbo, who came in for Cadamartre. I mean, Matt, once again, it's just the strikers that kind of had the luxury of being rotated. I mean, how much are we desperate for the likes of Bernard, Charles, Kabatsky, Brown, Weaver, Shalabar, etc. to come back? Because it's just the same side every single week, and I do feel for him a little bit.
Yeah, the squad is looking very stretched at the minute. You can see it week in, week out, and to be honest, the back line being the same, in my opinion, has actually helped a little bit with some partnerships beginning to blossom a little. Ideally, you'd maybe want to rotate one just to manage fitness, like game to game. But at the minute, there's no ability to do so. The one that is the most concerning area for me is the midfield. The reason why is, Baz is Baz, but he's been playing on his own too much this year in that area. Jan Valery is doing a fantastic job out of position. Let's not kid ourselves here. The options are very limited, and they are most limited specifically in this area of the pitch. It was the same last year, and obviously this year is just that problem extrapolated. And it means that, I know we'll get on to the game, James. I didn't think Baz had his best game yesterday in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt. I don't think anybody covered themselves in glory in an attacking sense yesterday. Yeah. I thought defensively it was a fantastic display yesterday. But actually in an attacking sense, I thought it was fairly hit or miss, to be perfectly honest with you. A lot more miss than hit. But West Brom fans came away going, oh, it was the Bannon show, he ran it again. And I'm thinking, you haven't seen some of his games this year where he has completely taken it over and away from other teams. And that is becoming really difficult week on week over the course of the season, because you just know, if you're an opposition team, the way to stop Sheffield Wednesday at the minute is just put 2 players on him. Just put 2 players on him. Like 2 players on him, nothing else is going to work for him. Just get him in, and he still finds areas, and that is a huge credit to him, that he still manages to find space, he still manages to find pockets, he still manages to get things going in fits and starts. But yeah, it's a very stretched squad at the minute.
Yeah, you're talking there about Jan Valery. We're playing a right back at central defensive mid, and then we're playing a defensive midfielder at right back. It doesn't really make any sense. And I know that, Fizier's said that he's happy playing there, even though it isn't. He said himself it's not really where he thought he'd be playing, but he's just doing a job for the team. And then Jan Valery's looked decent in that position. I think it's kind of the lesser of the two evils, really. I think Valery's. He's probably better at right back, if I'm being honest. Yeah. But he's better than the other options we've got in defensive midfield. So that's why he's going there. And I think he's been doing great. It does make us more defensive. And I think when we're shipping as many goals as what we are, we have to do that. And I feel like at the moment this season, if we try and go on the offensive, we just leave massive holes at the back, and then we just, like I said, conceding goals left, right, and centre. Whereas yesterday we tried to tighten things up, which was great. It just meant that we didn't really have much going forward at all, and we had a few chances, and we'll come on to the one glaring opportunity that we had. But yeah, it's like a bit of a trade-off in it. We haven't got a squad deep enough to be able to do both things well at the moment.
No, I agree, James. I think the reason where you can see, because Jan Valery for 85 minutes in that defensive midfield position will look genuinely brilliant, and you wouldn't notice that he was playing out of position. But there was a moment yesterday where Baz played the ball to him on the edge of the area, and he's just not got the natural awareness of a defensive midfielder to have his head on a swivel, and he got robbed on the edge of the area. And I think it fell to Ethan Horvath to make one of a number of good saves yesterday. And it's those little moments where you think, oh, he's just caught out there. Now, it'll be really interesting to see, I suppose, what happens when Nathaniel Chalobah is back fit, and if he can stay fit, which is the key point here, which, again, his injury record, both at us and his previous club, West Brom, dictates that he probably won't. But actually to have a partner who just says, right, Jan, you're just sitting in front of the back four, you're not moving from there at all, and I don't want you going any higher than the edge of the centre circle when we're in the opposition's box, and leave the back line on the halfway line, and actually let those two dictate. Because I do, for all the stick that I gave Nathaniel Chalobah when he first came into the football club, because I didn't think it was the best footballing decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I am a big fan of is, if you can get him and Bannon in the centre of the park, I'd really, really like to see what it looks like with that side ticking left to right, and actually being able to control and dictate the ball a little bit more like what we saw at, I suppose, Wrexham was the last game where I felt that really happened, where we were actually able to dictate the tempo in a half of football or in a game of football, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I reeled off when I was putting that list together, the players that are injured, I kind of forgot about some of them. You know, when you look at it and you think, actually, you know, with those players back, you know, like I said, Bernard, Charles, Kabatske, Brown, Weaver, Shalabar. I mean, Brown and Weaver are only recent ones that we didn't really know we had before this season. But yeah, Shalabar, 1 game, 1 goal, out injured. Well, didn't even finish the one game, does he? You know, Pierce Charles, I think that another one, when he's back, he'll just elevate the squad massively. He'll feel like an extra outfield player that we've got, and that'll be a massive boost. And Deshaun Bernard, I mean, the jury's out whether he's going to actually be able to come back at the sort of levels, because he's had a lot of time out at the moment. So that's going to be very interesting. And yeah, just have more bodies for like, just to be able to, you know, if you had those 6 players on the bench, you've got options there. Do you know what I mean? You've got players that can come on and change a game. Look at Middlesbrough away last season when Shalabar comes on, and it was like prime Yaya Toure, weren't he? When he came on, he was absolutely bossing it. So
Norwich as well, like he completely. We were 2-0 down, dead and buried in that game, and he came on and just got a hold of the game. I know he wasn't like instrumental in all of the goals. You know, he didn't have assists and score loads, but actually he was the person who was really front-footed and aggressive in the tackle, because we took off Shea Charles in that game, didn't we? And that was because Shea was trying to manage not getting a yellow card to end up missing for the derby. And he came on, and it was a bite to a midfield that, I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to have in the game from what we'd seen up to that point. So yeah, I am interested to see what happens when a few of those players who we saw from the media releases from the club this week, that actually a couple of those players are back in and around training, in and around the first team. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens when we do get some options back. Yeah, and up front as well. Up front is a struggle at the minute. It's pretty much... I don't want to be critical here. It's much of a muchness at the minute. Jamal Lowe, I know, is scoring goals. I know he didn't score yesterday, but he is scoring goals fairly regularly for a side that is down the bottom. When was the last time that Cad scored? Wrexham?
Yeah.
The last time that he scored was Wrexham. Ike Ugbo he scored in the penalty shootout against Leeds and scored against Bolton in the Cup. There's not a lot of goals up there at the minute with George Brown out. It's worrying, isn't it? But again, if you'd have told me before the game yesterday that we were going to take a point from West Brom, I'd have been really happy.
Yeah, agreed. I just want to read this one out. Matt Talbot says, massive shout out to Kieran Maguire, who's given me tickets for the game on Wednesday. It's made mine and my daughter's day. She was so happy. I had tears running down my eyes that someone can be so kind to help other people. And the fact my daughter, who's been asking to go to football with her daddy, can now go. You've changed my life. Massive shout out to Kieran Maguire there. And also as well, not only Kieran helping Matt there, but I think I put a form out because I had loads of people messaging me on Twitter. I couldn't really handle like how many people coming in and stuff. So I was like, right, Google form. If you want to buy tickets or you've got tickets you want to give away, fill this bit in. If you would like to take advantage of these tickets, so you might not be able to get to the game usually, but you'd like to go, fill this side in. And I think 15 people and 41 tickets have been sorted out, which I think is incredible. How people just want to help in some way, shape or form and try and get this game against Norwich sold out, which will be a huge effort. Matt, it was back to the game then yesterday. I think for me, I felt it was one of the best battling performances that we've put in all season, really. I just thought we frustrated West Brom to the point where you could hear the groans from the crowd. Obviously, you was there. You could probably hear it firsthand. There was, as the first half wore on, you could hear that, and certainly in the second half as well. There were pockets where they were on top, but I think we were just trying to frustrate them. I mean, yes, they had some decent chances. I think like the first 5 or 10 minutes was all them, to be honest. But I think they had 6 shots on target. Of those, 3 of them were shots from outside the box, and I think with the eye test, it felt like there weren't really many big chances. There was one that Horvath had to stretch to his left hand side and managed to get that one turned away. But other than that, I think the other shots on target were probably just tame headers from inside the box. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a point isn't good enough if we're thinking about, surviving. But I mean, to survive, we need a hell of a lot of points, and not to shock
Just
anyone,
under 2 points a game, innit, James?
Mate, I looked at it, and it's 1 point. Like we finished on 52 points or 54 points the other season when we stayed up on the last day against Sunderland. We finished, so if we were to finish on a similar sort of number, we need a run rate of 1.76 points a game, which if you was to do that from the start of the season, you'd finish on 82, which is basically top two. Yeah, and it pretty much. Well, it's certainly in the top six anyway for that. 80 odd points. That it's a bit of a stretch. You know what I mean? I'll be all on getting into the positive numbers to be honest. But that is going to be a stretch. I mean, but I do think though there's a lot of positives that we can take away from yesterday's game. My worry is though, like how much is that taken out of the lads, because we didn't make subs until 80 minutes. Yeah. So they all did 80 minutes. A few had the luxury of coming off and having 10 minutes rest. But, it was a lot of running yesterday. And I fear that heading into a 3-game week, how tired are they going to be on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? And it is a trade-off that Henrik is having to play. He's having to spin several plates. He's had one huge dinner plate that he's got rid of in obviously the previous owner. But it doesn't make his managerial 9-to-5 bread and butter job any easier in terms of what's going on. 3-game weeks are always going to be tricky for the squad. They are, regardless of what way you try and shape it. I think if I were looking to be positive from this week, 4 points would have been what you should have been looking for from this week. You've got one of them. Hasn't helped with Southampton sacking Will Still this evening, who, again, I think in the grand scheme of things, I understand why they've done it. I think it's still a fucking mental decision. He's a fantastic manager, and that club has got a lot of problems at it. But if you're looking at it, you go, okay, you've taken a point against West Brom, who, again, let's not try and dress it up in a way that it's not. West Brom are in appalling form at the minute in terms of they really struggle to create chances. When they do create chances, they're worldies from 30, 35 yards. And we saw quite a large portion of that yesterday. They're a side who is not really too sure of what they are, other than give the ball to Mikey Johnston. But also, they have gone to teams this year and won. I think they've won 5 games this season. So, going there was always going to be difficult yesterday. And there's a lot of positives, and it will have taken a lot out of the players. But I think the other thing I need to keep reminding myself is, because at the end of the game yesterday, there was about 4 players who dropped down to the floor, absolutely exhausted, they look like they're completely on empty. They've done that for the previous 12.
Yeah.
They've done, and the first one after Leicester, I was like, oh my God, these look knackered, they've not had a pre-season. Oh wait, no, they haven't. Oh, and then they do it again at Wrexham, and then they do it against Stoke, and then they've done it against everybody. And it is just, I think, players are having to exert more effort than probably they would feel comfortable doing so. I know Arne Slot in the week was talking about the impact on pre-season that Liverpool have had because of obviously the tournaments that they've been playing in from a sponsorship perspective, and also obviously the impact of Diogo Jota's death on the squad as well, and the impact that had on their pre-season preparations and plans. And actually what's playing out is that what we're watching at Sheffield Wednesday still, and we're in November, is a horrendously undercooked squad who just do not have that in them. Again, James, going back to the top, if you'd have offered me 4 points before this week, I'd take it. And I think you've got a fantastic opportunity on Wednesday night to go and get the other 3 and get our second win and our first win at home of the season. It's all set up for a Norwich 3-0.
That is typically the Wednesday way, isn't it? To be honest, when you look at it, right. In terms of in the game itself, I want to touch on this one, and I want to get your opinion on it as well, because you were there, I was watching it. It flicks to both the teams before about to kick off, and straight away I go, "That's a kick clash." You look at it. We were also wearing the purple or the lilac kit that for the first time this season. Lilac shirts, white shorts, lilac or purple socks with white trim. they were wearing blue and white shirts, white shorts, and blue socks with white trim. Both supplied by Macron, so it's exactly the same, same socks and same shorts, bar the colour. What was it like from your perspective? I'll get into it in a second. But what from sat in the stand, did you think can't really tell who's who, or could you?
Me personally, I thought it was fine, which is why I was so baffled when I came out the game, looked on socials, and was like, "Fucking hell, there's such a huge problem here." But then my mate who was sat at the other end of the ground because he's a West Brom season ticket holder was like, "Is there a kit clash here?" ? And then I saw the Oxford Millwall game. And if anybody hasn't seen the goals from that game, go and watch it, because that is a kit clash for sure. Like, that is who in this. And I think it's difficult, isn't it, James, when you get into those sort of... The design of our kit this year it's unusual, let's say, in terms of the colours that have been chosen for us. Like, traditionally, I always think of Sheffield Wednesday in a blue and white home shirt and either a yellow or a black away shirt. Like, that's what I always think of Sheffield Wednesday wearing away from home. We don't have that this year. No. We don't have that luxury. We've got blue and white or white and blue, which isn't going to be good for anybody. No. And then we've got a white and lilac/orange number. Yeah, it's always going to be a bit difficult. I didn't think it was too bad in the stand, though.
Yeah, because I spoke to a few other people and they said it didn't look too bad when you... Yeah. I think what it was when the sun was on, obviously the TV kind of distorts some of the colours sometimes, I guess. And when the sun was on the pitch, you couldn't really tell. I mean, straight away for me, I was like, we're both wearing white shorts. Personally, I thought that wasn't allowed because I'm sure I heard someone somewhere, it must have been a linesman talking, a referee's talking or whatever, and they say when they're looking down the line, that's what they're looking at, is kind of the shorts. When you're trying to see if someone's offside or not, because that's the thing that's moving, the legs are moving, and they're looking, if it was black and white, you would just see a leg poke out and you're like, well, that's a black shorts of the offensive team, he's offside. When it's all white shorts, you can't really tell. So I thought that was the reason why they needed to change them. I thought that I could put the EFL handbook away, to be honest, with all the embargoes and all the things from our previous owner. Turns out I needed to dust it off again. Well, theoretically speaking, because hypothetically speaking, because it's just a downloadable PDF. If you're wondering, I haven't actually got the EFL handbook. I mean, that would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? To be fair,
I would sit here with I think it's Gus or GU35 Owl. He says it's the socks, I believe, because wasn't there an issue with our orange kit last year where we couldn't wear the socks that Macron had sent out? Which the socks that actually were designed to go with the kit were like that black and white hooped number that went all the way up. That were actually really nice.
Yeah, if you bought the replica, you got those socks, but the club couldn't actually wear those in the end. I'll read the ruling in the handbook. It says, during the closed season, each club shall notify the league in writing details of its home and away kit, shirt, shorts and socks, and if applicable, any third set of kit. Each set of kit registered must differ visibly from and contrast with each other, registered by the club in that season. The away team will, not less than 7 days before the scheduled match, submit to the league, match referee and their opponents the details of the colours of shirts, shorts and socks of all players. There's another bit as well, is irrelevant. But so that says that we must have 7 days before told the referee and West Brom we are going to be playing in purple shirt, white shorts and purple socks as well. Then goes on to say, I've took another bit out, but then at the bottom it says, where both clubs request to play in the same or similar coloured shorts, then an application to do so shall be made to the appointed match referee, whose consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. Is that saying to me that the referee knew that... the referee's not said anything, but I think some of the Wednesday players at half-time did say it's a bit difficult to try and differentiate between the two when you're playing. I suppose the referee knew. West Brom also knew as well. I suppose when you look at it, I guess one's purple, one's blue and white. It shouldn't really be a clash, should it? To be fair, I think it is genuinely the shorts. So when you're thinking about nearly a third of the kit, is exactly the same. When they're running around and when you're just glancing quickly, I suppose it can look quite similar. But yeah, it's what was the game where a team was wearing like luminous yellow, and they passed it to the steward. Which one was that?
There was the Man United one, wasn't there? That's the most famous one, which is the Man United one away at Southampton, where Man United lost. I think they lost 4-0, and they were 3-0 down at half time because it was that grey sharp kit. Yeah. And they were like, players come off going, oh, I couldn't see them against the backdrop of the crowd. The one that you're referring to, I think, was away at Peterborough, where it was a side passed the ball out and it was a steward who was sat down on the side. Can I just say, James, what a change of pace 9 days make in the world of Sheffield Wednesday. We're talking about a fucking kit clash and this being the biggest issue at the football club at the minute and what's going on.
Craig will be mortified in the chat. He'll be, where's all this misery gone? I want to hear fucking... Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I was saying this to somebody yesterday when they were talking about prospective owners and bidders, and I was saying we sound like such fucking snobs now as Wednesday fans going, oh, not that millionaire, I want the billionaire.
Yeah, how many notes on the end of his bank account? Show me your bank balance. You know?
Oh, what a change of pace, eh?
Well,
anyway, the away kit's growing on you, I hear, James.
It is actually. Like, I know this is controversial, but I saw it and I'm like, I just don't like the home kit. I have bought the home kit. I had it on yesterday for the watch along. That's it now. Now you're on YouTube, you can't wear the same thing twice. I feel like a woman. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you are going to have to buy a lot of shirts, mate. I'll tell you that much.
Mate, I've bought all these fucking black and yellow shirts. They're useless now. I thought I'd at least get a few months out of them. Do you know what I mean? They come from a reputable Chinese retailer who's probably gone bust now.
Yeah.
Seems though they've probably gone. Like over there, I don't know if they're abreast of everything that's happening in the world of Sheffield Wednesday, but they're like, fucking nobody's fucking buying them. What's happened here? Like, just fell off a cliff. They've probably ordered loads
of people in a factory in China just twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah, they've roped in loads of extra people to get making these shirts. They've brought all the material in, all the black and gold material, and it's just all piled up high, sat there, not doing absolutely nothing because nobody's buying them anymore. But yeah, I do quite like it because it's the word art on the home kit in the third kit, because it's just in between the stripes. I'd preferred it if it would have been all over like it is on the purple one. Do you know what I mean? But obviously you wouldn't really see it on the white bit because it'd be quite subtle. But you'd see it on the blue. But I don't know. I quite like the purple one. I think I will get it.
And I like this one from Jez from a distance. I'll be straight, James. I'm telling you, it's a nice kit. My immediate reaction to it was it's truly terrible. Like, it's truly, truly terrible. And that was my instant gut reaction. However, I think that was also tied up with the fact of last year we had, for my money, the best away kit that the football club has ever produced in that all blackout, in the blackout kit. I like it. I've said it out loud now. The secret's out. I really like the away kit.
Matt, do you not think also it's down to the situation that we're in?
Yeah,
I do feel like, and myself included, you have to like making it like we weren't buying it. We decided that we weren't buying it. We were boycotting it and stuff like that. So I think it's just easy to tell yourself it's really bad.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there might be some people that disagree. They might say it is actually terrible, but I think you just kid yourself. It makes you feel better. If you're someone that buys all the shirts, you're like, I didn't want it anyway because it looks terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I am not enamoured with any of our shirts this year is the word art. Like, I don't like the word art. I think it's cheap. I think it looks tacky. I like, say for argument's sake, the shirt that you've got on that has SWFC on it, I think is done well because you've also got the SWFC embossed in yellow over the right-hand side of the shirt, so it kind of matches with all of the print that's on the rest of it, and I think that's done well. I think this is obviously inspired by that design. I am not a huge fan of the word, and it's more to do with the font than actually the SWFC being on the kit. I don't like the font. However, I will say, James, sat with that third kit in my wardrobe, which again, I'm still not keen on the third kit. The actual aesthetics of all of them have grown on me, have grown on me a little more. This is definitely not a shirt that Let me change the phrasing of that. This isn't a season where the shirts have come out and I've gone, fucking hell, they're really good. This is a season where the shirts have come out, I've had an initial gut reaction to it, and then actually, as time has gone on, and circumstances surrounding the football club change, because I will always look at the shirts that we got relegated in a negative light. The ones where we got relegated to League One. Now, I think that black and white camo number that we wore that year is a brilliant design. I really like the design of it, but because it's attached to Izzy Brown, I can't stand it.
And Kadeem Harris and all those sorts of players. Yeah. And I think this season's shirts are, I think they're modelled on the 94-95 goalkeepers kit, the black and white one with all the letters all over it. I think it's kind of supposed to be modelled on that one. But anyway, let's get off kits. Let's start talking about some actual proper things. I want to go straight into it. Sir Ike Ugbo.
Yeah.
He starts the game. We think we're all getting optimistic. We're thinking, is this the game where he scores a goal? Matt, he has arguably the biggest chance of the game. It fell to that one man who, let's be honest, you don't really want it to fall to. If you watched Wrexham on Friday night, Kiefer Moore scores almost an identical goal. He does exactly what he should do. Ike Ugbo sticks his foot out, it bounces over his foot. He should have got any contact on it, and he puts it away, doesn't he, really, Matt?
There's
don't back him up. Do not defend him. Do not defend him. You took that sharp intake of breath there, where you're thinking like, I'm going to say something controversial here. Defend him.
I'm not going to say anything controversial. He has 2 chances in the game, doesn't he? Which are the best 2 chances that we have over the course of the 95 minutes, as whatever it played out with. I think the first one that you're referring to, Jean Vassire does really well to win the ball. Jan Valery does really well to use his strength to then get some pace, and it's a brilliant delivery.
Yeah.
He has to make contact with it, because it's not like it's in front of him or behind him. The ball is actually perfectly delivered to him. He's got to anticipate and make contact with it. Just doesn't. The second one where the ball's fed into him, where Vassire again is applying pressure. Svante Ingolson nicks the ball, lays it through to him. His touch absolutely kills him.
Yeah,
because his touch.
Well, he ain't got a left foot either, has he? That's crying out for hitting it on your left. You open your body up and you swing a left foot at it, but you ain't got one. So,
or to be honest with you, it's crying out for a touch with your left and shape to go down that way, and then flip back in and just hit it. Very similar to, do you remember the goal that he scored at Bolton earlier this year? I mean, how can you forget the goal he scored at Bolton earlier this year? To be honest,
mate, I was in Greece at the time having a few shandies because obviously
mythos, yeah. But he's wrapped his foot around it, hasn't he? And he's not like lashed at it. He's wrapped his foot around it and generated the power that way. For me, the touch kills him because I don't want to be horrible here. It's almost too good a touch because it stops it dead. Like it stops it absolutely dead, and then he's got to run round the ball, and by that point Nat Phillips is back, and it's a striker who is devoid of confidence, and it has been for far too long. But again, at this point in time, I'm more frustrated with the fact of he, for large spells out of possession yesterday, was played as a lone front man. And I know it's not his natural game. I know that. But there was a moment in the second half where, for anybody who's listened to the At the Match recording that I did yesterday, you hear the roar from the away end because Ike Ugbo closed the goalkeeper down and it went out for a throw-in. And it was like, oh my God, fucking hell, we want more of that. We'd love more of that from you. I still feel really, really sorry for him. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, James, I can't defend the performances at the minute. I'd love to be able to sit here and say, he's getting into the right areas, he's doing this. The problem is now it's gone on for so long that it's like, at some point, you've just got to start. Do you know what? I'd prefer him, James, anytime he gets the ball within 30 yards now, just shoot. Just hit it. Anything will do. Well,
you mentioned that. You mentioned about West Brom taking long shots. I had a look while you were talking. If you're on FB Ref, you can actually look at the distance, the average distance of shots. And surprisingly, I mean, West Brom actually it's not that far out in comparison to other clubs. But surprisingly, or not surprisingly, we are the least distance. So we are the closest to goal on average for our shots, which that's a confidence thing, isn't it? That's just not having shots from outside the box. We have to get into the box in order to have a shot. I said that, as you know, that Ikubo's not got a left foot. Steve says, has he got a right foot? Jury's out on that one. And this is a great point from Louis. You know, would love to loan him out, but we don't have any players. I think on any other season, any normal season, he would have been farmed out, probably to the league below, or probably actually somewhere to France again, or somewhere like that where he's played, where he can still play at a decent level and try and just rejuvenate his career maybe for 6 months or something and get him back in January. But we just don't really have the luxury of doing that at the moment.
He needs, any other normal season, any other normal football club, he needs a move in January. He does. He needs a move. And that's not because I want to see him not do well at Sheffield Wednesday. I'd love him to rediscover the form that he did when he got 7 in 7 for us, wheeling away at Rotherham, putting the phone to his ear.
5G.
See him 5G on all of the players. It's not happening. And I honestly don't. I think there's such a mental block now. There's such a mental block now with him that actually he needs a move for everybody, because it's the minute he does eventually score, it's going to go absolutely fucking mental. At a league game, the minute he scores, it's going to go absolutely batshit crazy. I feel sorry for him.
I'm going to bring this one up because he's asked twice already. Ian's asking, where's his beer?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Ian. Half-time yesterday was a bit of a whirlwind. Saw Ian, and then, I went straight back up. Completely forgot about it, Ian. I'm not going to lie to you. I will get you on. So I will get you on at the next game that I see you at. My apologies, mate.
Mate, he's parched. He's not had a drink since.
He's not had a drink since.
His mouth's like Gandhi's flip-flop.
He's still stood at West Brom. He's still stood in the away end, just going, that you refer to it every week, that John Travolta meme where he's just holding his coat going,
where's Matt?
Where's he gone? Where's he gone? No, I'm waiting for someone. He said he's going to get me a beer. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Ian.
And another person I want to speak about, but in a more positive light than Ikubo. I think it's fair to say we can only, if we can dish out the criticism, it's only fair to give someone praise as well. And I'm not Dom's biggest fan. People that listen to the podcast will know that. But credit where credit's due. He was absolutely everywhere yesterday. And I think 17 or 18 clearances I think he made, which I think is probably more than what people make in the whole season, to be honest. He could have scored an own goal as well, but let's, to be fair, if he don't get a toe end on it, West Brom score and it's 1-0.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic yesterday. I thought he put an excellent shift in when it were all hands to the pump at times. How did you rate him, Matt?
I thought it was a good performance from him, but that's because we asked him to do the things that he's good at, which is body on the line, head it, kick it. I thought Josh Madger gave him a very easy ride up front yesterday, and he seemed very, very happy, Josh Madger, yesterday, just to let him win the balls in the air and didn't provide a particularly stern test in regards to getting up in and around him, forcing errors from him, etc. It was a really good performance from him yesterday. And it was, again, it's really nice to see Dominic Iorfa fit, because that has been a joke that I have made. And it's, it can't be nice, but he's a professional footballer. He's got broad enough shoulders to deal with it. That period over Christmas, winter period where, he's out now and he'll be out until March and then he comes back and then he plays. It looks as if that injury record is behind him, touch wood, at the minute. And he's playing, and the partnership that he has developed with Max Lowe in particular, but also Liam Palmer, you could argue, if it's me and I've got a choice, Max Lowe's the only one of those three who starts for me. I'm really, really pleased. I thought he was going to struggle with losing Ernie Weaver next to him. And I think it's taken him a bit of time to adjust to those new partnerships. But yesterday, won everything in the air, was very, very solid, and did the basics, none of the stuff that we were asking him to do against Oxford, that playing it out from the back, because that's not his game.
But that's the thing, innit? I think us having a better season from now until the end, or just having some relative success. And I take 0-0 against West Brom as relative success, especially when you've lost 4 on the bounce before. You've kind of stopped the rot and you've kept a clean sheet. First one this season, I think it is as well. When you do that, I think we've got to look at players and do exactly what you just said there. Like, we've got to play to the strengths, not get them to try and do things that they can't do. It might not be the way that Henrik wants to play. That in his repertoire of kind of tactics and stuff, this might not be in there, but needs must at times. And I think there's more than, you don't have to play a certain way to win a game of football. You can kind of adapt, change things, and it might not be pretty. I mean, Matt, it wasn't a pretty game of football at all, was it? Yeah, there were times where I think both sides couldn't even string 2 passes together. It was backwards and forwards, but I think. Do you think that played into our hands a little bit? The way that it wasn't a free-flowing game of football at all, was it?
Defensively, absolutely. Defensively, I think absolutely it played into our hands, because I think had West Brom allowed us time on the ball in the midfield and in defensive areas, I think what you would have naturally seen is what we saw against Oxford, what we've seen against a number of teams this year, is the team push further and further and further up the pitch, and it leaves us susceptible to the long ball over the top. With someone like Mikey Johnston on one wing, Isaac Price, who's pulling strings as well, it leaves you massive gaps, and we would have been open to ultimately a sucker punch. I thought the way in which that the game was approached, because you're right, James, it wasn't a pretty game of football to watch. It was a game that I would describe as it's only something that your mother could love, because, there is nobody who is a neutral who will have watched the first 15 minutes of that game yesterday and gone, leaving this on, what a cracker this is. Everybody.
It's a good job it were on red button, weren't it?
Yeah, correct. Can you imagine if that had been the main game on Sky for 12?
They only get, when they saw 56 goals or something in the Championship yesterday, and we had the only 0-0 out of all of them.
Oh dear, 4 at the lane though,
Agent McGuinness.
I had to fucking get one in there. No, I had to get that in there. Fucking
Mark
McGuinness going all I can't defend for them is brilliant, by the way.
Matt, I mean, I have the utmost sympathy for him, because they haven't got a number 9. We haven't got 9 fucking players, let alone a number 9. Do you know what I mean?
They haven't got a number 9. They haven't just gone out and signed the best centre-back in the league who everybody was after. No, no, they've got nothing. They've got nothing. Anyway, moving on to the actual stuff. Yeah, James, it was a terrible game of football, but I honestly think 6 weeks ago we'd have lost that yesterday. Really seriously, I think 6 weeks ago we'd have gone into that game, we'd have gone... It looked like the second half was, do not lose this. If you can create something brilliant, but don't lose this. Let's get a point, let's get a clean sheet, and let's get out of here and start again on Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, looking at numbers for people that are interested in XG and stuff, we registered 0.3 XG in that game. There was 1.1. So, yeah. I mean... Talking about XG and expected goals and the fact that they should have scored 1.1 and they didn't. Another player I want to praise, and again, took a lot of there's been a lot of slander against him, certainly on this podcast and certainly online as well by a lot of people. But you can't deny, again, Ethan Horvath putting a good shift in terms of the saves that he make. All right, he doesn't catch a lot, and there was one where he did catch it, and I did cheer. I'm not going to lie, but first clean sheet of the season. We have got him until January. He's still a lot of games that he's going to play. I hope he gets a bit of confidence from it, because I think he's a good shot stopper, and I think that's what he did yesterday. And I think we also the defence, and maybe the fact I come to the point that you made when we were talking about the lineup, because the defenders have played together now for quite a few games consecutively, they're perhaps understanding it a little bit more. I know obviously Lumley was in for the last 2 games, but I think there was one where Harry Amass ended up clearing it when the ball got kind of palmed straight out. But if they know that's what he's susceptible to doing, they're going to be more aware of it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I think, I thought he had a good game. I know they didn't have many chances, but there was that one I've already alluded to already, that long shot from outside the box where he had to get low and down to his left-hand side to save it. I thought that was a great save. It's not I know you call Roy Keane and going, it's his job, but you've still got to get down and do it. And I think, hopefully that's going to give him a little bit of confidence heading into these next couple of games. Well, and all the next games he's got for us this season.
I think he's a perfect backup goalkeeper for somebody. He made some good saves yesterday, and as you've already mentioned, in terms of palming the ball out, he wasn't palming it out into dangerous areas. He was palming the ball away from goal. On another day, Josh Madger following 2 of those in just as a tap-in, but it wasn't yesterday. I'm pleased that you've said that, because actually the biggest thing for me yesterday was he was coming out into crowds of bodies and crowds of players and actually not doing a full James Beadle and just chucking yourself on the dog pile, but like trying to make sure that his position was also blocking off another angle. There was one in the first half where West Brom had a succession of, I think it was 3 or 4 corners, and the ball was headed into a defender, dropped to the edge of the 6-yard area, and there was a mass scramble of about 4 or 5 bodies, and he also came out to like narrow the angle down rather than just staying on his line. He's fine for what you need at the minute. I'm not sold in his distribution in any way, shape or form. I think when and if Pierce Charles comes back and is in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt again, the way in which that we will play will be very, very different, because we saw that at the start. If you think about the way in which that we start attacks now by going long from the goalkeeper. It's very rare that we bowl the ball out into, or clip a ball out into wide areas, or a pass that goes through the centre of the pitch to take things out. We don't do that. And that is another string to the bow that is to come back with a play. It sounds mental saying that about a goalkeeper, doesn't it? But if you think back to that first game away at Leicester where Pierce Charles' distribution was criticised, you don't see that.
We didn't know what were coming, did we?
No,
we did not know what were coming.
But that's my point, is you don't see that anymore. We don't have that element to our football. We don't have that element to our attacking football at the minute. It will be very interesting to see what happens when that comes back in and how the squad adapts yet again. But I would also highlight this, James, as well. This is the 3rd year running where whoever has been in goal beforehand has had an absolutely atrocious situation in front of them. I would like to see him with a genuinely settled and solid defence in front of him, because we haven't had that for the longest time at Sheffield Wednesday.
That's it, innit? Like, we spoke about this before. It's all right criticising the goalkeeper, but the defenders in front of him have to take a little bit of criticism as well. You know, if you've got a good defence in front of you, then you're not going to face as many shots. Therefore, you're going to look better as a goalkeeper, aren't you, really? Whereas if you've got a leaky defence and you're facing lots of shots, you know, all right, a good goalkeeper would rise to the top. I'm looking at kind of Victor Johansson at Rotherham, faced a hell of a lot of shots, but still, you know, regarded as a fantastic goalkeeper. But yeah, you've got to help you out a little bit. Like,
well, them down the road at the minute, Michael Cooper there's huge questions about Michael Cooper now, and is he actually that good? Michael Cooper is a fantastic goalkeeper, probably the best in the division. You have got
but when your central midfielder slips in their striker and you're 1-on-1, I mean, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? You know,
and forces the PA to frantically cut Greasy Chip Butty as well. Fucking chef's kiss. But again, if you were to lift James Beadle from the first loan spell where he came in and drop him into this, he'd look poor. If you dropped in Kieran Westwood into this situation, Kieran Westwood would make some saves, but he would still be left wildly exposed. It doesn't matter which goalkeeper you put in at the minute. They are going to make mistakes because of the sheer volume of opportunities and chances and pressure that the other team creates against us. So yeah, I thought he had a good game yesterday, but again, wasn't overly tested. Made the saves that you would hope and expect a championship goalkeeper makes.
Yeah, Daniel says any other season, a draw away at West Brom is a good result, but results don't matter at the moment. Yeah, agree on that one, Daniel.
Sorry, James, I'm just bringing this one up here from Chris. Rams fan here. I was at Bramall Lane yesterday and they were really poor. Lovely to hear, Chris. The atmosphere is very flat. You guys have a good chance to beat them. Ooh, nervous.
Maybe we're not going to be the underdogs after all in that game. What a turn up for the Bucks that'll be. Right, let's come to the 3-word match review then. I'll read a few out. At WTID Pod is where you need to go for that one. Big Art Shaw said solid away performance. Matt says heroes in lilac. David's gone with stoic and resolute.
Heroes in lilac.
David says that kit's rank. He won't be buying it. Nath says worked hard again. John, good day out. Just on that, what was the away day like? I know people can go or Patreon members can go and listen to the match day special that you did. But a little brief rundown. What was it like?
12:30 kickoffs are always crap, and
not enough drinking time, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
Like,
but for also for anybody who hasn't been to the Hawthorns before, it's a bit like Hillsborough in that respect. There's no real away fans pubs close to it. Birmingham city centre is 5-10 minutes by train. But of course, for a 12:30 kickoff, you're not going to go into Birmingham city centre, have a couple of hours there, and then go to the game, because you would legitimately have been setting off from Sheffield at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Pubs aren't even open at that time.
Well,
unless you're going to Wetherspoons.
It was an issue that myself and Chris ran into yesterday. Got there, first pub I was going to go to, shut. So it's the best pie in the country, in my opinion. Chicken and Balti for anybody who's asking. The stadium's nice. It's very easy to get in and out of. But as an away day yesterday, I'll be honest with you, not the best that you're going to experience all year.
So it's not a Charlton away then, is it?
No, absolutely. It's not London. No, it's not London. But I would say I know Chris is the Derby fan who's in here, like laughing at them down the road. I would say it's easier to get away from than Pride Park, because my goodness me, I'm not looking forward to that later this year.
No, definitely. I remember you ringing me like 2 hours after the game is finished, and I'm like, "Where are you?" Like, I can still see Pride Park, and I'm like, "Fucking hell, that's what are you doing?" I could have walked home quicker. Richard says good away point. Andrew says Didi Nana. No idea what that means. Wes -5 points now. Dave, it's a point. Ben, Steely performance that. James Revel says home early, Matt? Question mark.
Mate, great. In the house before 4 o'clock. What?
Mrs. didn't even know he'd gone.
No idea.
Yeah. Horvath clean sheet, very good point. Hard working hours, a lot about hard working and stuff. And I think that was playing for everyone to see. And Liam says Dominic fucking Iorfa. Yeah.
Can we just, James, just before we move on, can we just also have a moment of appreciation for who I thought the man of the match was, which was Sean Fasir. He was our Sean. Unbelievable. I thought he was exceptional yesterday in the crucial moments and the key moments. Him and Harry Amas were the two defenders who I thought took the plaudits yesterday. Amas is week in, week out becoming a heck of a footballer. Sean Fasir he was great yesterday. Needs to work on the distribution, but aside from that, really good.
Do you know what? He's stepped it up, hasn't he? Because he's been thrown in. Let's be honest. I know he's one of the ones that has had a bit of exposure to first team football before. I know obviously he was at Carlisle, weren't he, last season? But I mean, in terms of he has actually pulled on a blue and white Wednesday shirt in the senior team. But he probably didn't expect realistically to play much, in the first team now. But he's actually done a decent job. I mean, he's got a goal as well, which should do his confidence a world of good. Yep. He's shaved the dreadlocks off, so I don't even know who he is when he's playing. There's him, there's Ugbo, there's Jamal Lowe as well.
Bruno, who come on as yesterday as well. Bruno Fernandes. It was great to see him back, because I thought he was going to be out for a long time. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased to see him get some minutes yesterday when he come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's been thrown in there and actually doing a great job, and it's great to see. And like I said, long may it continue. I think they've all done well. You're looking perhaps Otsbayo, maybe the one that's perhaps not taking it with both hands, but the other ones. I mean, that's the one thing that I am a little bit. I'm disappointed in that we've not given some of the other youngsters a chance. I mean, it must only mean that he doesn't think that they're good enough and they're ready. But we saw in those 3 cup games, that togetherness and things. And I thought we perhaps, seeing as though we are really struggling in terms of that rotation, I thought you chucking one in, is it really going to affect the squad that much. Do you know what I mean?
I do understand what you mean. I think we've got a period after the next international break where you will see those players utilised, because I think we've got the international break. I think we've then got a period where it's like 5 games in 15 days or something stupid, like something like absolutely ridiculous. And if those players who are coming back from injury have injury setbacks, you're going to have to play them. I think it was Liam in the chat who highlighted that. Apologies, Liam. I couldn't find the post. That is where you're going to see them. And also, James, the other side to this is depend on if there is ownership in place by January and if the EFL have lifted embargoes or not. You're going to see them before the end of the season. I think you're next up in terms of those who deserve a opportunity would be your 2 centre-halves in McGee and Joe Emery. Yeah. I'd like to see those two get some minutes. I feel sorry for Reece Johnson at the minute because he ain't going to play over Harry Amass. Harry Amass is, from the opportunities that I've seen of both of them, there's a reason why one's at Sheffield Wednesday and one's at Man United. The nicest way that I can put that, I suppose. And
well, also as well, you never know. It could even be drawn into the contract that Harry Amass has to play every game unless he says he's not fit enough to do so. Do you know what I mean? The fact that we're not even paying a bean for him, it would make sense that they've actually said he has to play, or else we're not going to give him to you, and that's. Again, really understandable, but again, annoying for Reece that he's going to have to sit out because I thought he did brilliantly, especially in that Leeds game, Bolton game as well. Did fantastically well in the cup. So yeah, let's move on then. Open training session. That was this week. We also had a signing session as well in the club shop. Just as a broad overview. Matt, it's great to see these things that are those easy wins again, just getting ticked off. It was half term as well, so kids were off school. Saw a lot of kids in the crowd. I didn't go down, but obviously I watched saw pictures and stuff that had come out from it and things like that. And then yes, the queue outside the megastore. I can call it the megastore now because we know that the letters have been put back in. Going all the way down Penistone Road, it's just. This is what it should be like, shouldn't it? It's mad because the things that we're doing aren't we're not like reinventing the wheel here. No, we're just doing the things that we should be doing. But because we've been deprived of these things for so long, it just feels like it's exciting again.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head of the point that I was going to come on to there, James, which this is just what normal football clubs do. It's not groundbreaking. As you said, we are not trying to reinvent the wheel. We've not done a Harry Redknapp and offered kids out from the crowd to come and have a kickabout on the pitch. This is a really, really easy win. I think we are helped in this respect by having Chris Wigfield in, who is a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and also somebody who understands the value of, if you open up the ground and say 7,000 people come in and the players train and they do a signing session and they do this, etc. Guess where loads of them are going to go? They're going to go to the club shop and they're going to spend some money.
It's not fucking rocket science, is it, man?
It's really not. And that I think is where I have sat with the last 9 days of Sheffield Wednesday. I am really excited to see, once, this is no slight on the administrative team, once the administrative team have moved on and we have new ownership in place, I am really excited to see all of the people at the football club who have been stifled, shut down, and their inventive ideas have been completely ignored to the point of, to be fair, you probably would just stop suggesting them because you know it's not going to come to anything. I am actually really excited to see some of those people get the opportunity to go, right, let's see what we can do here. Because, again, as you say, an open training session, every half term these should be on. Every single half term, there should be one open training session at Hillsborough. The fact that this is the first open training session that we have had on the Hillsborough pitch, I want to say in about 4 years.
Probably longer than that, to be fair.
7,000 fans went to go and watch Ike Ugbo score some goals in training. They went to go and watch players do shadow play on shape. which was like genuinely was 30 minutes of the training session because it was again streamed by the esports team, like on X for people who couldn't get there. They're all very, very sensible things that you should do. But again, if you're looking at how to turn this into something progressive, Liverpool will stream these online once a week.
Yeah.
So this is where, again, moving forward, the club should be looking at going, you should be making it. And I mean this very nicely because as you said right at the top, James, we are massive capital M, capital A. It needs to become a content machine. Because you need to make people feel like they're missing out. I'll be honest,
mate. 100,000 people watch seats being taken out of the North Stand. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where we're at. That is the level of fandom that we have. And yeah, people will watch. You don't have to charge for it. It'll be free on YouTube, and people will tune in and watch and other things like interviews and stuff like that. Because you do that little bit of effort, then means that you are sponsors. One of the first questions they're going to ask is, how big's your social reach? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're going to look and go, how many followers you've got? How many impressions do you make in 7 days? All that sort of stuff. And ours is going to be pretty shit, let's be honest, in comparison to a club of other clubs of this size.
Sunderland, for argument's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Theirs is massive. So, and that's one thing that we do fall down on. But doing all these quick, easy wins, I always go back to it. The Cam Dawson video when he had Joost van Aken and I want to say Joey Pellier-Pesse.
Oh, and they were
as
doing,
well.
Yeah.
The Yorkshire slang and stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff like that is great because it's just people watch it. Like literally, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Like some of the production level of some of those videos, it's not like graphics coming over the screen and all these transitions and stuff like that. It's just literally two cameras. And then that's it, but that's all you need, and people will watch it, and it will, you're right, it will grow that, the amount of subscribers that they've got and all that sort of stuff, which will then in turn mean that we can attract either a bigger sponsor or more money or ask for more money into the football club because they'll get that bigger reach and stuff like that. It's just things that we just haven't done.
Because if you do that, you can also sell advertising space on your training gear. Like you could very comfortably, if you said we're going to commit to 4 open training sessions a year and we're going to stream, and again, we're only talking about this because, again, it was slightly off on a tangent, but again, content is obviously what this is. Like a content space is exactly what this is. It's the reason why when you're listening to the audio version of this, you pop up advertising Coral, or like you pop up advertising.
I will get this 2 pinter sponsored at some point. By the way, just ask if you want your logo on the 2 pinter. Get in touch.
But it's those type of things that people will have been desperate to do for a long, long time in terms of thinking about creative ways to get more money coming into the football club. But for too long, the previous owner, it's the issue of micromanagement, isn't it? And again, that comes down to when you're thinking about, again, big picture, it's thinking about, right, we don't only need a director of football for the stuff that's going on off the pitch. You also need like a director of brand marketing. You need all of these things that genuinely big clubs have, or all just top flight clubs should have. There's people at the club that will be absolutely flat out at the moment because the amount of stuff that's been coming out of the club, the ideas must be, they must be working like 12-hour shifts every single day just to try and get all this stuff out because ideas are coming left, right, and centre. And do you know what? And I know why as well, but the club are at the moment, very receptive to any sort of idea that anyone's got at the moment. So, which is, again, they should have been like this before, doing all these things. I've seen that there's meal deal on Wednesday for the Norwich game. There's also you can sit in a padded seat as well for some of the games if you wanted to, and even that one, it's just like the communication as well, and just boxing off the questions that are going to come at you. And it says if you've got a season ticket, we will reimburse you do you know what I mean? Like they'll adjust the price accordingly if you have got one of those, and stuff like that. It just seems so much better. It's like a different football club. I don't think it's actually Sheffield Wednesday that we're seeing at the moment. It's someone else. But again, it's just because of how poorly it's been run previously. I'll come on. Let's talk about the games coming up because, and then we'll get on to the other one if you've got time. But
Norwich City, I've mentioned it already. Looks like it could potentially be a sellout. I mean, massive 6-pointer, bottom of the table clash between Wednesday and Norwich. They're 7 games. Oh no, we're 7 games without a win. 2 goals at home. In Norwich are in abysmal form. 6 straight defeats. Could be managerless by Wednesday as well. Or we could make them managerless if they fail to beat us, which could be a distinct possibility. But just on the fact that we're nearly selling this game out, like we shouldn't really, a team that's bottom of the league, no wins at home, and only scored 2 goals, there shouldn't be 29,000 fans there on Wednesday, should they really?
No, there shouldn't. But again, it's a testament, especially in. And again, I know we've kind of alluded to it here. I know why there has been a big push on this in terms of like a discount on the tickets. And I understand that because obviously there's a limited number of home games. Obviously, we've got an international break this month. And actually, if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan who is thinking about prioritising a game this month, nicest will in the world, it's not going to be Norwich at home. If you're thinking about prioritising a game and saving you money to purchase a ticket, there's one game this month which you're doing that for out of all of them, and it's not Norwich at home. The fact that there are only 3,000 tickets left or just over 3,000 tickets left for this game on a Wednesday night is a fantastic effort from everybody who is there. I think when you're looking at the Norwich who are coming, I know there's been a lot of people who have been throwing out a bit of slander about the protest that happened at Norwich, obviously, over the weekend. And I'm not going to sit here and profess to know the ins and outs of it. One thing this has taught me, because I will openly hold my hands up, I have poked fun at other clubs in the past for stuff that they have done with the protest. I can honestly say, after going through the last 12, 24 months of being a Sheffield Wednesday fan, you will not get me poke fun at anybody to do with anything to do with the protest anymore. I will hold my hands up and say, in the past, probably didn't pay enough attention to it, probably didn't know enough about it. There was, I think it was predominantly Ipswich fans who were like going, fucking hell, that's a right protest that you lot are all doing. What a fucking joke that is. What I would say, a sleeve of Slazingers does go a long way in the grand scheme of things, doesn't it, from where it started here against Middlesbrough. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it does. I mean, also as well, I think there's been people saying, why is this not a sellout? Calling people out for not going as well, which I think the way I see it is, as soon as the admin was announced, people flocked to the shop, not necessarily to buy tickets. Maybe they did for the game that was the following day. A lot of them flocked to the shop to buy the shirts that they'd not bought. Like for me, for example, I would always buy the home shirt, and then I buy my lad the home shirt as well, and then it comes my birthday, it's his birthday as well, we kind of get those shirts. It's easy. I said to my mum, just get me the away shirt. Like, it's just, I can't, there's no one else that I wanted to get me. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a running thing now. That sorts me that out. So there'll be a lot of other people that might be in the same situation. And some of the shirts aren't cheap. It's 60 odd quid for the adults ones, 60 quid for the kids ones as well. So if you walk out with 4, 5, 6 shirts for yourself or your kids or grandkids or whatever,
partner, whoever,
you could spunk like, I don't know, 500, 600 quid.
Very easily.
Yeah. We're talking like the amount that you spend on a season ticket, just all of a sudden, and it was suddenly as well. It was Friday, bang, weekend, people have just spent that money that they didn't, that wasn't going to spend. And I know people might come and say, well, it's only 20 quid for match. But even with season ticket holders, like the midweek games aren't that well attended. People do miss it. I know you sometimes struggle to get to the midweek games.
I won't be there on Wednesday because I've got a recruitment event for my job that I work at, which means I can't leave work until 5 o'clock, 5:30, which means I've got no chance of getting from where I am in the city to the motorway to the game in time to make kickoff. And I mean this very nicely. Any accident or any traffic on the M1, I'm probably not seeing the first half. So I was like, well, there's no way I can go. So it is what it is.
You've got season tickets, so it's not quite the same. But other people in your situation,
situation,
that on a Saturday could get there can't, and even other people that are working, they work till whatever time in midweek, so they do. Again, if you've got a season ticket, maybe you can wangle something. But when you haven't got a season ticket,
if you're working shifts or anything like that,
had this game been on a Saturday, I'm sure it would have already sold out. It's bonfire night as well. Like plans get made, but I know it probably sounds like I'm making excuses for people, but that is the reality of it all. Let's not. Why do we have to bash all the people that aren't doing something? Instead of praising all the people that are doing something, why are we not praising all the people that have gone out there and bought tickets for other people? Why are we not praising all the people? I know we said at the top, I'll have a look now. Why are we not praising the 1,700 people that have donated to the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust fundraising appeal, and probably another 100, 200 people or whatever it was that donated to the Owls Talk one? Why do we have to talk about the people that these theoretical people that aren't doing something, as opposed to praise? I think that's just a mark of society, really, not just Sheffield Wednesday fans that we do that. And I just find it really, it's always have to have something to have a go at. And actually, it's such a positive thing. They would not have been, whatever the gate's going to be, 27, 28, 29th, whatever it's going to be on Wednesday, we would never have got that gate for that game in normal circumstances.
Well, we played Norwich in a midweek game recently. There was footage a Norwich fan had posted where they came to Hillsborough and beat us 4-0. It was under Daniel Farker. Timu Pukki scored several years ago. I'd be really interested to see what the actual attendance was, not the ones who were counted as a season ticket holder as well. And that in those days, we had Stephen Fletcher, Ati Nuiu, like playing up top for us, Josh Onomet. Like it was that awful season where everybody ended up injured, bar Adam Reach. Horrible Elevate kit. I think Steve Bruce ended up becoming the manager at the end of the year. Midweek games are always going to be less well attended than others, and that's sadly just the reality of it, especially, again, and I go back to the point that we were making at the top of this discussion, James, especially when the next home game is a big one.
And also, I get there could be some potential buyers or advisors to those or whoever in the crowd. I'll take my binoculars, I'll have a look from the north, and I'll see if I can spot anyone. I don't know who any of these people look like, so it's absolutely pointless. But I'll have a look anyway. So it's like where's Wally, but I don't even know what Wally looks like.
I don't know what Wally looks like, so I'm just going to look at him and go, oh, it might be them.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure there will be some people there at the game on Wednesday. No doubt about that. I could argue that if there's 3,000 tickets left, the difference between them, what the ground's going to look like with those 3,000 people in it or not, if the 27,000 people that are there make as much noise as they possibly can, it probably won't even be that noticeable.
That's the bigger thing.
So let's, rather than slagging people off for not being there, let's just make Hillsborough one of the best atmospheres that we've ever seen. And do that instead, rather than taking, than going, oh, look, there's an empty seat over there. Oh, there's an empty seat over there as well. Just make as much noise as you can. They won't even know. And the people that are there, if that's the reason why we're doing it, they'll go, wow, this is quite special, this.
And even if they're not, guess what? It'll make socials, because there's this thing called the internet. And the internet's quite powerful in terms of what it can generate and what it can do. Yeah. So, as much, again, the amount of noise is, you were at the Newcastle game in the Cup. I was at the Newcastle game in the Cup. There was 20,000 there, I want to say, that night. It wasn't particularly well attended aside from Newcastle fans. That was a very raucous atmosphere.
I mean, the ones that could find the seats, you mean?
Yeah, of course, because they were all stuck in the tunnel. But it was a very, very raucous atmosphere, that, wasn't it? Like, for a night match. It wasn't like the Arsenal game in the Cup, where it was like absolutely packed to the rafters and you couldn't move, like, at all, home or away end. The noise and the atmosphere is what will sell it to anybody, if this is what the real reason is behind why we're all supposed to be turning up to the game. Yeah,
Liam says, regardless of the crowd, it won't put off a buyer. I mean, the only thing I would say is if you are actually sat in the stadium, it does, like, you can watch it on telly. Like, I've watched the Peterborough game back many, many times. It sounds great on the telly, but it doesn't sound anything like what it's like when you was actually there. So a similar sort of thing. Yeah, you can say, "Oh, a lot of people there," but when you're actually in it and you can hear it and stuff, and you're taking it all in, it is quite special when it can be like that. I mean, look, we've got to do our bit. We've got to get the chants going. We've got to see. Let's not sing about him as well. You know, we've had a home game about that. We've had the away game yesterday. You know, we'll just park that. Let's not sing about him. Let's just we've got to get the songbook out. There's others that we can sing. Do you know what I mean? We've got plenty of other songs that we can go through. And yeah, it'll be a decent one. Quickly then, the other one is Southampton on Saturday. Long trip down south. In my notes, it says, another manager who might not be there by the time we play them. He's not, because he has been sacked. No win in the last 5. No win in the last 5. One win in 11. Only 2 wins all season. I didn't expect them to be down there. Down there at this point in the season, not going to lie. But yeah, managerless now. Will still... What was that? Will still be in a job? No, he won't.
No, I think he's a fantastic. I'll be honest with you. The 2 managers who we were set to come up against this week, I think they were the 2 best managers in the division. To be perfectly honest with you, I think Liam Manning is a fantastic manager. Will Still was one of, if not the most highly rated coach in Europe for a while. You know, at like a certain level. I'm not talking like he's going to walk into like a top job in the big 6 or anything, but I'm talking like if you could have told me in the summer, right, Danny's gone. You can get any manager. Who do you want? These 2 would have been top of my list to come into Sheffield Wednesday. I mean this very nicely. This is the game that is now, especially with Will Still leaving, the script for this one. You know the script. Southampton are a club in trouble off the pitch in terms of they need a huge rebuild. They didn't have it the last time they came down. They then went up under Russell Martin. That didn't work. Brought in a manager at the back end of last year. That didn't work. They then waited for Will Still, got him, and then they've decided to bin him off in November. They are in a mess.
Maybe they should have paid the $5 million. That's all I'm saying, Yeah,
the two squads on paper could not be further apart in terms of quality. I hope we go down there and make a really good fist of it, is the honest answer. And I hope we capitalise. Wouldn't it be fucking lovely in these 2 games, Shane, just to get an early goal? Just to get an early goal and just go, right, it's on you to do something, rather than it always being on us to come back from being behind. Yeah,
it would be nice. And I think we need a win. We can't state in the bleeding obvious, but we do need a win. You said you think we could get 4 points from this. I think I just hope that like on I know we talk about the game on Saturday, but I hope a game on Wednesday in front of the big crowd. I hope that we don't I hope they don't try and play up to the occasion, if you know what I mean, and just play the normal game of football. I don't want them to start playing out from the back and doing all this sort of stuff. Like, just go back, do the basics right, and I think we'll do the rest from the stands. Great. But yeah, Saturday's game on paper it looks a bit more difficult, and yeah, maybe they're going to be a bit more pragmatic, maybe rather than this data-led, sort of system that they're using. They don't have the star boy though, do they?
They don't have the best player, no. They don't have the best player and the best player in the division in Shea Charles, which wouldn't it be fucking magic if he just turns up in the away end? I know he won't, but I know he won't. But
if Pierce was playing, he'd have a. He can't. He can't.
He'd be lynched. Yeah, he'd be lynched. But
no, he might be in the home end for the Norwich game. Was it the Norwich game where which game was it where we thought it was his last, and he came and he started signing the autographs?
Bristol City.
Was that? Yeah. I can't remember that one. We were all crying.
Norwich was the one where he got a yellow card. He got taken off in that Bristol City game at half time because his head was not in it. His head was all over the shop.
Yeah, man. Do you know what as well? I was talking to someone the other day, and I said I'd love to do some sort of documentary on He Who Shall Not Be Named, but just kind of talking to all the people that's had any sort of interaction with him kind of over the time. And the reason why I mentioned that just now is, that Shea Charles, he was in the midst of all of that, back in January where he was staying, he wasn't staying, right up until the 11th. Nope, definitely. Rob Staten, he's not staying. And then literally 3 minutes later, he is staying. It was the other way around. Sorry, he was staying, and then he wasn't, and then he and then he paid them. Do you know what I mean? Like, just to hear what actually happened? Do you know what I mean? What actually happened in those sorts of scenarios?
I'm telling you, I'm going to make another public plea for him to do it. Matt Exton, if you are listening, please,
yes,
please do it.
Even if it's just so you can shoehorn some David Brent.
Magic. Yeah. But the reason why I say that is obviously I know we've interviewed Matt as well. I can think of nobody who understands the fan base from a filming and content perspective better than him, because I know Lensgo Visuals does a fantastic job at working with the club, and I know Matt has had previous contacts with the club until obviously he made David Brent memes about Dishfon. I think he would do it justice, if that makes sense, because I think he's got that really nice touch as an interviewer of getting the most out of them.
Yeah, Steve says there's a book coming according to Joe Cran and Alex Miller. Yeah, that does not surprise me one bit, and I'm sure it would be an absolute cracker as well if the other two are anything to go by as well. Right, let's wrap things up. Let's head over to extra time. We are going to be talking about. Basically, do any of these players that we've got stick around for a season in League One, which we are inevitably going to be looking at. Like I said, it sounds really negative talking about League One already, but yeah, just have a look how many points we need to stay up, and then see if it's negative or not. It's just as Matt always says, realism. That's what we're heading for. It's just the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in. But I saw a tweet on Twitter. Obviously, that's where you tweet, and I didn't see it anywhere else, did I? And it'll mention about like, some of these players. Will they still be here? And I thought, what a great thing to talk about. We will also be talking about the Mike Ashley lowballing £10 million bid as well that he's apparently poised to put in as well. So yeah, head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/WTRD pod is where you need to go. We'll be 10 or 15 minutes, mainly for Matt to take off the rest of the owl costume.
It's still on my legs, yeah. I'm sweating, mate, honestly.
And then we'll be over there. But no, thank you very much, everyone. Really do appreciate it. And we'll just to mention, it is the Trust Q&A as well on Thursday. So we've got the match on Wednesday. Obviously, we normally do a debate show, but I'll be at the Trust Q&A, live streaming that on Thursday night. So either get down if you can. If not, do tune in because they've got lots of things to say. Obviously, a bit more positive this time. I think they've had lots of chats and discussions with the EFL, which I'm sure they'll be wanting to talk about, and any kind of developments and stuff like that. So yeah, get down there if you've got any questions for kind of moving forward, what you want them to do as a trust moving forward with the club and stuff, and I'm sure they've actually got lots of stuff to tell us. So yeah, get down there if you can. If you can't, do watch us, and we'll see you then.
Sorry, James, I was also going to say, if you do get down there, I heard Ian's still quite thirsty, so please, somebody.
Ian, I will get you a pint.
I'll send him money.
I'll get you a pint on Matt's behalf. Matt's delighted because it's at working men's prices and not to
It's not stadium prices. I'm fucking thrilled. It's working men's prices in Sheffield as well. Come on.
He says I'll get you two. Right, thank you very much, everyone. Head over to Patreon and we'll see you there. Cheers, guys.